So I have with me Mamta Mohan here in Abu Dhabi. She's here for IIFA, and there are a lot many more things to speak to her about. I've been waiting for this for a really long time. Pleasure having you back with us on Hungama.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. So are you enjoying this entire IIFA experience?
Absolutely. I've been at the IIFA Utsavam once before, but this is the first time I should say that I got a direct invitation from IIFA, and I was. In the beginning, I was a bit perplexed. I was like, how many people from the south are coming to the IIFA?
Right.
But it's an honor to be here. It's beautiful. I'm enjoying this.
Great. So you were having this very, very in-depth conversation with Salman Khan yesterday at the press conference.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering that what exactly is cooking?
What were we talking about?
Yeah. What was?
Well, I was like, "Are you well?" I'm like, "Yeah, मैं ठीक हूँ." It was a very simple, but we looked very serious, right?
Yeah,
we were in conversation. No, we were talking about a few years ago we had met at the Celebrity Cricket League, and that was the first and the only time I had an in-person, a chat with him.
Right.
And we were in one frame at that time. I think I had a picture of it with me as well, which I don't have it with me right now. So we're just talking about that, and that it's been a while since we had events like this, so it's nice to be out and about. And I was also telling him that Middle East is like Salman fan, major, yes, yeah.
Right.
Because every Arab friend of mine, anyone who's I'm from Bahrain, right? So anyone from Bahrain and Bollywood means Salman Khan. Did you work with Salman Khan? They don't want to know anything else. They don't ask about regional films. Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't worked with Salman Khan yet, but I will one day.
Okay, so but any chances of that? I thought that maybe you guys are discussing a movie or something.
In Malayalam we say "Naakku ponnai varte." It means whatever you say may turn to gold.
Right.
Let it come true.
All right, and I think he has a fabulous sense of humor at the press conference. The way he was just cracking jokes.
Oh my God, yes, it was so true. We should have just given him a mic, right?
Yeah.
He kept dropping one-liners. Yes.
That's what Shahryar was saying.
You're actually missing out on the cream.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, looking forward to the performances, because it's been a while that Bollywood functions or say film-related functions they've happened internationally.
Yeah.
After a while.
It's big because IIFA itself is coming after I think 2 to 3 years, I think, since they had the last IIFA. So as much as I think more than me looking forward to it, I think the whole industry is really looking forward to making this happen. And also I think this is also one of the first biggest awards happening post-COVID, if I'm not wrong, because others are yet to happen.
Right.
But IIFA officials also told me that our Utsavam is also going to happen this year. So that will be nice for the South Indians.
All right, and so when you have, say, for example, so many people coming together, and there'll be music tonight, and there'll be at the IIFA Rocks, and there'll be the entire function tomorrow, the IIFA Awards tomorrow. When you look at performances, how do you respond to them? Like you're a fabulous performer yourself when it comes to singing. I've seen you perform live on stage.
Okay.
And so how do you look at the performance? Do you find some certain he's got off key, and this is something which is not like maybe he's singing on a DT or something. It's like it's lip syncing is going on, and he's not singing it actually, he or she. Do you do that?
Well, I would say that more than a good singer, I would say I'm a very good listener first.
Okay.
So I do catch off pitches, and I know, okay, this person's definitely recorded with auto-tune, which means, there are a lot of actors artists, I would say, singers especially, who have, today it's the world of social media now. So what works is what everybody can sing. It's not about the best singing anymore, or that talent per se anymore. So we know when some singers use auto-tune in the recording studio, and today that's how music is being made. But in that, you can identify brilliant singers as well. And in fact, yesterday there was a small, during the press con, there was a few singers did sing, because they're all performing tonight. Devi Sri Prasad is a dear friend of mine, and we have made some brilliant music together. I've sung for him. I got my first Filmfare for singing with one of his songs. Right. So, he's a relationship goes a long way. He's performing, and I'm really looking forward to it. But he's not a singer predominantly. He's a composer, who's made massive hits. So I'm looking forward to that performance. Of course, Yo-Yo Honey Singh is there, who is, a sensation
Very
when it
entertaining,
comes
yes,
to very, very entertaining. His rap is like, I would say I'm a fan of his rap. Probably not so much the Surili Awaz mein singing, because he's a rapper. I mean,
Exactly.
and his writing is
Lyrics
good.
is
I really
quirky.
like his lyrics, and I thoroughly had fun yesterday. But there was a singer. I'm sorry, I do not know her name, but she was standing to the left of Honey, and
Asi's score.
yeah, when I went down, she had like little curly hair. When I went down, I did tell her that your voice is really, really good. And
I
you
was
can,
coming to that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was the one who, when she sang, so
Yeah.
first of all, she did not have any excuses. And she,
yeah.
when she sang
like
out,
your honesty
when
there.
she belted out,
Yes.
it was a train one.
Yes, I really enjoy that. So I'm definitely, she's probably, she's another performance that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And it'll be fantastic. I mean, we haven't felt this energy in a very long time. The energy that I get from the audience is amazing when I have been, I have performed on stage earlier. And for IIFA per se, for Utsavam, I did have the opportunity. I think it was the first IIFA, if I'm not wrong, done in the South. I did perform a huge, it wasn't a singing, it was like a huge dance performance. And Shamak was the choreographer at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy that you get from a stage like that is fantastic, because they had, the way they had done lights and sounds was so magical and powerful that you feel the energy of that when you're standing on stage, right? The crowd is, after some time you zone out, right? Because you don't see what's in front of you.
Right.
You're performing with the energy that you get from that stage. So I think as a performer, it's very important to respect that stage. Trust everyone that's around you in your team that's helping you put this act together.
Right.
And then baki, go with the flow. So today is going to be good.
All right, so I saw Jana Gana Mana. It has come up on an online platform yesterday only.
Correct.
I think it was, I'm here in IIFA, but I was literally finding time anyhow that I have to see this film, and I saw the entire.
Thanks for watching it. Yeah.
And it's a brilliant film. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm sure that you must be getting great response in the time.
Lots. I mean, it's ever since it released. I've been traveling quite a bit ever since the movie released. In fact, I watched the film in Bahrain. I did not watch it in India. I could not celebrate the success of that film with my team because I did want to share, those moments with, especially the director and the writer of the film, with whom I feel very, very close. I think all of us were out of, if I'm not wrong, me as well as Prithvi were out of station on the day of release. Okay. Fantastic responses. It's being unanimously being accepted by people, not just who are Malayalis, but also by a lot of non-Malayali friends of mine. A lot of friends of mine from Bombay. In fact, there was one friend of mine who kind of went ballistic over the film and took 3 different sets of friends on 3 consecutive days, one entire weekend, and they were all non-Malayalis. And what resonated with them, I think, is the writing, the ideology, the rebellion, the revolution, the young minds, the coming together for for the greater good. A lot of those things a lot of things spoken of in the film is so relevant to our judicial system, things that are happening around us. Also the approach that Prithvi as a lawyer, how he catches the people's attention and then, goes against it. Like why? Like while one person is being adored and celebrated, or this news is being sensationalized, calling that out, right? Like what if, what you see is not
the actual truth.
It's not the actual truth. So there's a very interesting plot twist in that, and how he steers the mind of people in the other direction to actually bring out the truth. That really created a lot of impact in the storytelling, because the first half, most films we get responses, the first half was fantastic, and then the last 20 minutes worked.
Right.
But over here it was the first half that was like a bit lukewarm. I would say people were having a nice cruise, but then it just skyrockets in the second half, and it really stood up. So for me also, it was like, I wanted to see how this film is going to be put together finally, because we know that if you look at it, not the key characters in the film don't really have much interaction with each other. they all survive independently in their, in their strength. They're all strong in their independence. So I think people connected with the characters, people connected with the story. Everybody could. I knew that there would be something for everyone in the film. We as a team, we knew that this is going to be a film that will have like a pan-Indian effect, because
Yes.
it does cross all those boundaries of state or language or color, or so yeah.
Yeah, I basically understood the film from the subtitles, and I think there's this dialogue that your silence can become a license.
Yeah.
I think it literally just makes you stand up and take notice, and it's hugely inspiring. One thing that I found really interesting was, many times there are these discussions, and how many times actors and all these people, they tend to squabble that हमारा role कितना बड़ा है, that हमारा role जो है उसका duration क्या है. The way your and say Prithvi's roles, they are just enmeshed together. They're extremely important. They come and they make an impact. Each time, say, you are appearing, Prithvi is coming after almost 1 hour of the film.
Yeah.
But once the film ends, you take back remnants of both the performances.
Yeah.
And you realize that it's not the duration and all those.
Not about our screen time.
It's not about the screen time, or the fact that you have to be there in all the impact scenes, and you have to be the ones who's the one man army in terms of savior, or the works the way it happens. And I think that is the victory of film as an entirety.
Yeah, I agree.
That you take back remnants.
There was another correct. I mean, there was another interview in which I mentioned that this story would have stood even if we did not act out those characters, because not just the characters, but the whole thing in its embodiment was so powerful and strong. What added that extra edge to it is the fact that someone like Prithvi played the lawyer, Surajetan played the the cop. I played Sabha Mariam, the one who dies, right? Says goodbye. So, it's the story independently would have it shines. And I think someone like Shahryar Mohammed, who's the writer of that script, screenplay, amazing screenplay. That credit needs to it needs to be given to the director and the writer. They have done a phenomenal job, because they worked tirelessly for 1.5 years to put this movie together. And we, in fact, Prithvi would shoot his part and go. And even if we did communicate, we would just check on, hey, how did your part go? Like, how was your part today? Because we are not interacting in the film, but how to knit it in a way that all these characters feel connected to one another. It is a big challenge, and obviously we have to bank fully on the director, right? Who's going to keep us connected. Each artist, they were so wonderfully prepared for execution of such a big film. Because the first time I listened to the story, I was like, it sounds very good, Dijo, but how are you going to make, because it sounded like something like a Rang De Basant. It leaves that impact, in your hearts, and you feel very proud to be an Indian, or you get that, patriotic feeling when you. That's what I felt when I listened to just the story. So obviously the narration would have been that good, for me to be able to watch a film and feel the weight of that of the subject that we have. We're trying to make turn into a film. Like, how do we have all that? Because I didn't take a full reading of the script. It was more of a narration that went on for about an hour and a half. And it's beautiful how this magic, it just comes together, and you need to understand that there were so many challenges in making this film right from day one. The first schedule itself got packed up, I think, 6 days earlier because Prithvi gets COVID. The second schedule, I think Surajetan got COVID. So every 2 months, we're trying to call a new schedule of 15-20 days, because each location was different.
Right.
So in spite of all this, a young director like Dijo and Shahryar Mohammed, who have an amazing chemistry, they're a beautiful working duo, because they've worked together on his first film called Queen as well. And this is Dijo's second film. So
second film only?
Only second film. And you can see how much he's matured. I personally, I haven't watched Queen yet. I've only seen snippets of it. And I liked the snippets that I saw. And but placing that faith in someone who's so young and who's only one film old, that's where producers come into the place, right? But for producers to back them, you need a strong story. and Sharis, and it wouldn't have been possible, without Sharis. And Sharis is a very, very shy and very restrained sort of a person. He doesn't. They have a very interesting working chemistry, and they worked in tandem right from, because I see them while they're taking each shot, they're whispering to each other like something or the other, and then all of a sudden Dijo would just land in front of the camera and say, not like that and this and that, and like he has this, and he knows those keywords, um, to kind of like kick up the adrenaline of the actor just before they start performing. He has these keywords to as reminders. Think about this, like think about that, like and then go into it. So young and so dynamic, and he's not even really from a full film background. That's what. So I just I'm in admiration of this new talent that knows how to give us the right energy, because you don't get that. There might be directors that I work with who are like 10, 15 films old, but they don't connect with you fully. So I have a beautiful connection with Dijo and Sharis, and I hope to work with them again in the future. And I keep telling Dijo, this victory is yours more than you know. Not of course we can talk about Prithvi, all the actors, right? Take more of the credit, I would say. But I said, this victory is yours. Keep it with you. Keep it inside you. Be humble about it, and may you make many more amazing
And I hope
films
so.
together.
Definitely, I hope so. So you are saying that anyone could have played the parts by say you and Prithvi. I think both of you're outstanding actors, and I'm talking about you, for example. What you bring to the table is that level of earnestness that you bring to the table. I think it's totally unique.
Thank you.
And for example, when you're confronting the university
Vice
administration
Chancellor.
and the vice chancellor about I think Vidya, her name is Vidya.
Yes, yeah, the girl, yes.
Yeah, so that level of earnestness is truly remarkable, and even the professor who's trying to bribe her, the way Sabha responds to that guy,
yes.
And right through, I think, like she's the voice of reason. She's the catalyst for what
yes,
the
also
youngsters,
to create the next generation
next
of
generation.
yes.
So I think every scene that you're appearing, that is that level of I think massive dignity, which is something that you're giving to the character and to the film industry, because many times we see that that there's certain films that are being made which may not be really bringing people together, and I think cinema is a very, very dynamic and far-reaching medium, which can create an impact.
Definitely, and in the right manner. It needs to be done in the right language, with the right demeanor. It needs to be done carefully.
Exactly.
Creating change needs to be done carefully. It's not something that you can approach carelessly. And a lot of that is happening off cinema as well. Now we're having a very divide. There's so much division in the way people think and function, and make their get their point across. So I think Sabha is a very good example of how her character in itself, right? I mean, of course, I kept telling Dijo, anybody can play this character. I did. I kept pushing back and saying, anybody can play. Oh, she's going to die anyways. Why? But he was very, very adamant till the 11th hour. He kept telling me, because they had started shoot, and I kept telling him that, nee, like, let me think about it. Like, my schedule's still like two schedules away. But he was very adamant, like right from the beginning. And I think I was the second person to get casted after Suraj Jatan's character. It was, he wanted Sabha in place. So he put so much faith in me. And, I think when it comes to performance, it's not for me to tell how much I did to become Sabha or with what conviction. Any material you give me, when there's good material in front of me, I think I enjoy performing it. And when I know it's going to be part of a film that is going to be so beautifully made, then you get extra energy from that.
Of course.
There's a lot of passion in the content itself. That inspires me to become a better performer. You give me bad material, I'll perform badly. How can I change like this into, like, give me, I don't know how to, you give me Chandi, how can I turn it into Sona, right? Like how do you do that? You can't. You can add. Of course, there's the fans who know Mamta, maybe they love me, so they appreciate what I'm saying or what I'm doing. But genuine good material and writing, I believe you can put anybody there and they probably have a chance of shining.
Right.
So this was just a culmination of both of it coming together. I think people loved the way Sabha looked, the way she was styled, coming to the other side of it. It was a very pleasant appearance. My audience loved me when I put, like that, hijab, scarf, whatever, in the Muslim Islamic look. I have fans right from Anwar who love me in that tattam, we call it tattam in Malayalam, tattam look. So there are a lot of things that worked for Sabha in itself. And then in that you give me some brilliant script also, then I enjoy performing it. Because it is something that can create some sort of wave. In the story itself, we are creating the next generation of women who are going to, women or, young minds who are going to stand up for similar causes. And then what I love about that last... I tell this girl, no, you go file your nomination, and then she comes out and she walks. And then there's a blur shot of this girl, and then it goes to the next generation, another fresher, who's come into the university. And I loved that shot, how it went from from one generation of campus students to the next generation. It's kind of passing it on, right? So that needs to be done in the right manner. And most people misconstrue when I use words like doing it graciously, doing it slowly, they just don't seem to get it. But I think it's beautiful. I think we're in a time of change right now. And you're not going to be able to set the new change like right away. It doesn't happen that way. It's going to take its time. And we do it through new stories like this. This is inspiring. It lifts you up. It makes you think differently. And cinema has always impacted minds and the lives of people.
It does. It's a huge medium.
Yeah, it's a huge medium.
It's
so
a mass medium, actually.
Investing in stories like this, in storytelling like this, in characters like that, I think at some point it will be worth it.
Hopefully, definitely. Malay. It will, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's so many things that one can speak about as far as Jana Gana Mana is concerned. I think the music is outstanding.
Yes.
I don't understand Malayalam, but whatever English translations that I was lyrics as well.
Lyrics.
I was reading. It's beautiful, and the songs, I think they're really nicely sung, and I think I'm sure that you will approve of the singing as well.
Yes.
It's
No,
outstanding.
I mean, when it comes to music, me and Dijo were going over some things, and it was like I gave this reference. I was like, I know.
You're a classically trained singer, so I'm sure that you will understand, you will know the nuances and you'll point out. We are in a very, very interesting phase as far as Indian film industry is concerned. I spoke to DSP yesterday, and we were speaking about the songs of Pushpa and like how it has literally become pan-India and being loved not only in India but various parts of the world and football matches and other worlds. So, and all sorts of debates they're going about the languages and South films and box office and what is better, what is not. How do you look at this entire, in a way, I would say synergy in a positive way, because with pandemic what happened was that a lot of this content was coming on OTT, and I personally have never interacted with so much with South stars the way we did in the pandemic zone. So it's being watched by people all across the country and the world. Minnal Murali becomes like a trending film in various parts of the world as well. So how do you look at the synergy?
Thanks to Netflix also for that, right? Like, I mean, pre-pandemic, yes, not a lot of people were paying attention to streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Because I remember even when Forensic released, there were a group of there was just in fact just before the pandemic was when Forensic released, and there was a group of white people who were in the theater, who came to the theater just because they liked the trailer of Forensic. And that was not because they saw anything of Minnal Murali or Tobino's any work before that, right? So this was before that streaming boom. But we saw how very little, that film had reached. Could have gone, we could have had Forensic could have been released on Netflix if it was, and I think it would have been widely accepted and more, it would have reached many more people. But what happened after that during COVID is that a lot of our content started getting, more visibility, not just in our place, globally. There's more, people just want to see good content regardless of, whether it's in what language it's made, and they don't want, it's not star driven either. And I think this is just a fantastic change. It's something that we've always needed. Actors who were probably, I would say, out of job now and are phenomenal actors sitting at home, they're all getting, a new life. In fact, stars also, I'm sure, have realized that it's not what, that's not what really matters anymore. What matters is good performances, and
Of course.
people are willing to accept us, if we choose the right subject. And but let's be fair, there is still a lot of content that's not getting visibility. And now amongst streaming platforms, there's competition, right? Where producers are like, oh, I have to sell it for cheaper to a streaming platform, or they all want to get the Netflixes and Amazons and all that, right? So if they don't get it, then they have to go to other platforms. But regardless, what is interesting is we're getting more visibility than we did. We're getting more acceptance. We're being noted, like especially South Indian stars are getting, South Indian actors, both male and female, we're all getting accepted, and they know that we exist. We're not that lot, who only did South films. So that is, as a South Indian actor, I would say this is a fantastic change, and whoever's getting opportunity from the South in Bollywood, as well as to do crossover, like pan Indian, pan world sort of like international films, I'm just so happy for all of us in general. And it is a change that was, COVID was a blessing in disguise. If you look at, of course, there's a lot that has happened during COVID and we lost a lot of lives, but regardless, the change that we're going through right now I think is here to stay, and people have the freedom to watch what they want, where they want now, and when they want,
Exactly. When they
right?
want,
Yeah, when they want. So that is giving them. It is a world of consumerism, right? Everyone's trying to sell something, and everyone's trying to consume something or buy. So you give people the freedom to decide, just like we have given people the freedom to write comments on a post of us. They have freedom to choose now whom they want, what they want to follow, how they want to think, what to choose for themselves, and whom to follow to get inspired in their own lives, and what to apply. So I think it's all about choices, and people are always going to like an option of being able to choose what they like.
Absolutely. So I was at this function of Radhesham where Prabhas was there, and I asked Prabhas about, this is very interesting change that, in a way, the South industry, the sort of respect that they're getting right now, and the sort of acclaim that they're getting. So Prabhas answered, but Rasul Pukati was there, and he gave a very interesting perspective. And he said
he's an interesting person.
He's a very interesting person, and he speaks his
Yes.
mind.
Yeah.
So he gave a very interesting sort of response. He said that South industry has always been very flourishing. They've always had huge openings. Like for one language to have the sort of numbers that it does, it's absolutely brilliant. And then even overseas, for example, sort of openings that they tend to have is simply brilliant, because the diaspora of, say, Kannada or say Malayalam, they support it like wholeheartedly. The piracy is under check because of the fan clubs and the fans. They're very dedicated in South stars compared to, say, other industries. So that's a very interesting perspective that maybe needs to be acknowledged, that maybe it is now that things are being spoken about that much, because maybe 2-3 films have come about simultaneously and created that dent in a way.
Yeah.
But maybe the contribution of South industry has to be acknowledged maybe a bit more, even in terms of technology, the way they have brought to the table.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think national films have always taken its technicians from the South. Some of the topmost names are from the South.
Right.
And we're very humble about it too.
Exactly.
Are we going to cry loud about it and, make our presence felt? No, we've had a change, and like I said, it's happened gradually. At the end of the day, are people looking back and saying that some of the best content is coming from Malayalam, especially Malayalam when it comes to story writing?
Of course.
People are acknowledging it today. Right? So now we have the birth of streaming, and we're getting more and more. I think more than any, maybe probably picking up actors from any other language. I think more actors are going to come out from Malayalam as well, because we have always gotten respect. Whenever I have interacted with a technician or a director or producer in Bombay, they've always respected how hard we have worked to get where we are, how they also acknowledge the fact that we get very little visibility. The money is very less, but you make magic with very little money. Why can't we do this in Bombay? They say that. So
Yeah.
being acknowledged itself, is it feels like hearts of mine. Like I'm still very humble and little old fashioned. It fills my heart to just be acknowledged. I'm not gonna. I believe that if our industry is going to go places and our actors and everything, all of this is going to get recognized, there is a time for it, and a lot of things need to change. Systemically, it needs to change. Today, we are getting closer to that change, and we are being recognized. So let's acknowledge that, and yeah, independently, our industries have survived independently. Regardless of whether we've had those kind of appreciation from the north, we have independently survived this far, this long. We've come this far, and now it's time for us to work in tandem or work in a collaborated manner, and make this industry, unite this industry probably, and call it Indian film industry as opposed to just Mollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, and Bollywood. So we're getting to that. We're getting closer to it, but. Needless to say, we have to be thankful for how we have, to our fans especially, who have helped our industry stay intact and not get lost in, because Malayalam and Kannada are much smaller industries compared to Tamil and Telugu.
Of course.
And when it comes to storytelling, I would definitely say Malayalam stands on top for me, because that is how I kind of forayed into Tamil, Telugu, and again for better scripts and better female-oriented subjects, I came back into Malayalam. So. Yeah. It's time for all of us to unite,
No, absolutely. Writing of Malayalam cinema is absolutely brilliant, and I think the way they treat women as well is truly remarkable. In this film, there's so many dialogues. The way they're talking about women, I think, is truly remarkable.
When you speak about women, I also feel that women of today, do we really need special treatment? We don't. So when we ask for special treatment is where we divide the gender. Okay, why don't we just be equally aggressive, equally passionate, and be equally recognized and ask for equal demands? That's all. There is no, we're not trying to put someone else down so that we can stand up, right? So I think we're in our stories we're able to talk about equalization of gender, but I think when you say through stories and when you say it in cinema, some things might tickle some people the wrong way. It might seem like we're trying to revolt and we're trying to rebel to equalize. But it's just that we've been oppressed for so long that we're trying to come out, and it looks like an explosion of women empowerment right now. So we're trying to make our noise felt. We're trying to be seen. We're trying to be recognized. But I think the playing field needs to be equalized. And I think we'll get there. It's beautiful.
And when I spoke about the writing part of it, with regards to say women, say if we're talking about Jana Gana Mana, for example, the entire idea of I think the best way of making a point is by stating facts, and when all these facts are coming out during the narrative that every 15 minutes there is a rape, or even the National Human Rights Commission for women, and when there's a case which is having a lot of media attention, so she speaks about it, otherwise she does not maybe. So all those things, when they come out as far as facts, I think they're far more impactful.
Yeah.
And
yes. That's what the story was able to do a little differently, is what I believe.
Right.
Because when I watched the film as a whole, that's what I felt. You're trying to address the issue, but also trying to approach it in a, trying to navigate the people's mind to actually question what they're blindly believing.
Right. No, I saw this movie, Tovino's movie recently, Narada. And there as well, I think there are.
I haven't watched that film yet.
No, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
so
it's good. Yeah.
Even there, because it has that element of the women element as well, and how they're wronged, and there as well the way they come up with the facts and all those things.
Yeah.
I think it creates an impact. Personally, I find you extremely inspiring with your positivity, the way you approach life. And what is it? What is your thought process that literally keeps you so positive and happy and smiling? Because I think when we emit happiness and that level of positivity, I think there are so many people around, and you never know that it may be having a positive impact on some.
They say that it's always nice to have bottomless coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have a bottomless drink, you're paying the same amount of money. You might be paying $5 for it, but you get a jar of bottomless. There are some places that do that. So such is my theory on my life. It's so easy for people to think that, oh, all her problems are over because she's always smiling and hearty and, like jumping all around and traveling all over the world. And um, the truth is that my problems never get over. So then how do you live the rest of your life? By embracing your problems, because one problem or the other when it comes to my health comes up every 1 or 2 years. So when you know that, I mean, I've met a lot of people who are similar to me, and I see how much more they celebrate life as opposed to people who have zero problems and want to create more drama in their lives. So I think my positive spirit comes from that. And of course, the bottomless gratitude that I have towards my support system, which is my family. My dad and mom, they've been, and many friends as well. I would say I have very few friends, but whoever I have, they're, so tight. They go back a very long way, and they're my solid support system. And I do everything that I can. Even I constantly keep a check to make sure that everybody is okay, because I need them, they need me. We are a system, and without that system, I will not even survive. So for me, everything else that happens around me just happens around me. But as long as this system is in place, I am happy, And I can't say that I think from a very elevated point of view all the time. It does make, I do become a serious, it's like sometimes if you get philosophical, I'll be too serious, and I don't like going there. But I think my happiness or my happy-go-lucky, my go-easy, sort of a demeanor comes from the fact that I already know that I have so many problems that I deal with on a daily basis. But do I need to talk about that all the time? No, that's not my story. My story is more than that. I'm living a normal life. I'm here. I'm alive. It's beautiful. We're all here. I tell people when they complain, we're here. But you're forgetting that you're alive, that you're here. Stop it. Let it go. So there's nothing to worry about, really. We're all here very temporarily. So make the best of it. Like, why spill over?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, why cry over spilled milk?
So, any plans to maybe write a book or something?
It's something that people have always asked me. I don't know. Every time it comes to when someone tells me, are you going to write a book? I'll be like, I feel too old. And people have been asking me from the age of 24, ever since I had cancer the first time. So I don't want to write a book yet. I have some more things to fill in my pages. So let me do it when I'm maybe 50 or 55. I'll probably write a book.
Inshallah.
I'll have a lot more to tell then.
But do you have a title in mind?
No.
Not yet.
No. The title will come to me. Whatever happens in my life has always come to me. It just comes like this from air. I do not, because whatever I have planned at whatever timeline in my life I have planned, it has not happened that way. Mm-hmm. God has always had its own. I don't want to say God, but not that I'm a non-believer, but I think the universe has always chosen it for me, and it will show me. I gravitate towards good energy, energy of people, energy of minds. It's a lot of things, because that energy is what keeps me happy. It keeps me alive, and it keeps me going. So I draw, like you say that I inspire. I don't know if I inspire, but I draw inspiration from the silliest of things and from the smallest of people. It can even be little children. So lot of good energy inspires me, and I like to be surrounded with that. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
So I'll get the title also like that from the air one day.
I'm sure that you will. And personally, I would love to read a book as and when it comes out.
Yes.
Because I think it's very inspiring. What I've always seen your pictures and the way you are. That because many times we see people who have so many things and they keep on complaining all the time. And maybe they don't thank enough for the blessings that they have.
No, they don't have. Probably they don't have other serious problems to worry about now. So they have to start worrying about something. They have to make their life about something, correct?
Yeah, but I think they can learn from.
Like you make your life about Bollywood Hungama. Everybody needs something.
Right.
That's just, otherwise how do you pass all your free time?
Right,
Some people make it about social media, taking selfies constantly. मैं यहाँ पे सोती हूँ, मैं जागती हूँ, मैं नहाती हूँ. I mean, come on. Right. Every single second of their life is out on social media. So each people choose what they want to make their life about, right? So for me, since my from a very young age, my health has taken over not just mine, but also my entire family's attention away from a lot of things. In a way, now that I've been in and out of it for about 12 years, I would say that maybe this was the reason. God didn't want me to worry about, anything that is mundane. And He's given me a bigger problem, which I'm handling gracefully. And um, I'm glad that this is the only thing that I have to worry about, So it's
No,
good.
I hope that it gets sorted completely, and there are many
But
more
if it
things
gets
to-
sorted completely, the next question is, am I going to become like everybody else, worrying about the mundane things in life? Right?
We'll come to that once it happens.
Yeah. See?
So thank you very much, Mamta,
Thank
and
you so much.
congratulations for being here and the wonderful journey that you've had
Thank
so far
you, thank
for
you.
Jana Gana Mana
Yes.
and all your future ventures. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for supporting, in promoting our movies as well. You've been a strong support right from, I think, Brahmam is when we interacted the first time.
Yes.
So, Faridoon, I will always expect your support and
No, always.
be
You know,
my
because I've
cheerleader.
I never look at any cinema or anything whatsoever from a perspective of language or anything whatsoever. I think
Yeah.
it's a good content. It can be in any language, like Korean or anyone whatsoever.
Thank
If it's something which is good, you can connect to it, because I think humans at the end of the day, I think they think alike in some way or
Yes,
other.
we
Their
do.
ways are different maybe, but they think
Yeah.
alike.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and it's interesting to know different perspectives. So
Thank you, and we
thank
need
you.
more people like you
Thank
as
you
well.
very much.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
so
lot.
much for your wonderful work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have from Bollywood. Keep on watching.